Imagine waking up tomorrow and every clock on Earth is gone. Your phone doesn't show the time, your watch is blank, the clocks in your house have stopped. You step outside and ask someone what time it is. They don't know. Nobody knows. At first, that sounds like a minor inconvenience. But then you realize something terrifying. How do you know when to meet people? How do you know when to work? How do you know when to eat? How do you know when you're late? The modern world would descend into chaos almost immediately. Which raises a strange question. How did humans survive for thousands of years before anyone knew what time it was? Most people assume time has always been a part of human life, not time itself, but knowing it. Knowing it's 8:14 in the morning, knowing you have 30 minutes left, knowing you're running late. Today, time follows us everywhere. It's on our phones, our computers, our cars, even our kitchen appliances. We're surrounded by clocks so constantly that we almost forget they're there. But for most of human history, nobody knew what time it was. Not because they were less intelligent, because the idea barely existed. Imagine living 20,000 years ago. You wake up in the wilderness, no clocks, no calendars, no schedules, no alarms. How do you know what time it is? The answer is simple. You don't. At least not in the way we do. Instead, humans lived by something much older. The rhythms of nature. The sun rose, the day began. The sun set, the day ended. That was enough. Or at least it seemed enough. Until humans started doing something that made life far more complicated. Working together. Imagine a group of hunters. They need to leave at the same moment. If one person arrives too early, they wait. Too late, and the opportunity is gone. Food disappears, energy is wasted. Survival becomes harder. Suddenly, timing matters. But there's a problem. Without clocks, how do you coordinate people? Ancient humans developed a surprisingly clever solution. They didn't measure time, they measured events. Instead of saying, meet me at 3 p.m., they might say, meet me when the sun reaches that hill, or meet me after the morning mist disappears. Time wasn't a number, it was a shared experience, and for thousands of years, that worked. But then humanity changed. People stopped moving. They began farming. At first, farming sounds unrelated to time. In reality, it changed everything. A hunter can adapt if conditions change. A farmer can't. Plant seeds too early and frost kills them. Plant too late and the harvest fails. Entire communities depended on knowing exactly when seasons would arrive. Suddenly, watching the sky became a matter of survival. People started paying attention, very close attention. They noticed that certain stars appeared before specific seasons. They noticed the moon followed predictable patterns. They noticed the world wasn't random. It repeated itself, again, and again, and again. For the first time, humans began predicting the future. Not through magic, not through luck, through observation. The sky became humanity's first calendar, and it worked remarkably well. But another problem was waiting. Civilization. As villages became cities, life became more complicated. A farming village might survive with rough estimates. A city could not. Builders needed coordination. Merchants needed schedules. Religious ceremonies needed consistency. Governments needed organization. And suddenly, sometime after sunrise wasn't precise enough anymore. Humanity needed a better solution. So people began creating tools. Simple tools. A stick in the ground. Nothing more. Energy is wasted. But that stick revealed something fascinating. As the sun moved across the sky, the shadow moved too. The shadow became a guide, a silent indicator that the day was passing. This eventually evolved into one of humanity's earliest timekeeping devices, the sundial. For the first time, people could divide the day into smaller pieces. Not perfectly, not accurately, but enough. Enough to coordinate, enough to organize, enough to build larger societies. Yet even sundials had a flaw, a huge one. They only worked when the sun was visible. At night, useless. On cloudy days, useless. Humanity had solved one problem, only to discover another. And that's a pattern you'll see throughout history. Every solution creates a new challenge. Every breakthrough reveals a new limitation. But something even more interesting was happening beneath the surface. Humans weren't just measuring time anymore. Time was beginning to measure humans. Think about it. Before clocks, people adapted to nature. After clocks, people started adapting to schedules. Their lives became structured around hours, then minutes, then seconds. The invention of accurate clocks didn't just change how people understood time. It changed how people understood themselves. Work started at specific moments. Meetings happened at specific moments. Entire societies began moving in synchronization, like giant machines. Today, we barely notice it. We wake up because a number tells us to. We eat because a number tells us to. We sleep because a number tells us to. We live according to a system our ancestors would barely recognize. And that's what makes this story so strange. For most of human history, nobody knew what time it was. Yet somehow, humanity survived. It crossed continents, built civilizations, discovered agriculture, created cultures, raised families, and changed the world, all without checking a clock. Maybe the most surprising part isn't that humans once lived without knowing the time. Maybe it's that we can hardly imagine living without it now. For thousands of years, humans followed the rhythms of the earth. Today, we follow the rhythms of the clock. And if you really think about it, the sun still rises, the seasons still change, the world still keeps time. We've just replaced the sky with numbers. So yeah, for more simple explanations like this, subscribe.